This is BBC London 94.9.
Are you nuts? Why would I want to pay my taxes to these people?
It doesn't go directly to those people. You're giving a very false impression of what happens to your personal taxes, aren't you?
So you don't avoid tax, do you?
No, and I don't have a company offshore. Well, it's definitely true.
And I can't ask my employer to pay me in Switzerland.
Would you if you could? You're not paying any tax here, and you're here.
Yes, but I make sure I'm under the threshold.
Yeah, but you're earning stacks of money elsewhere.
To hear the full stories, listen to Vanessa Feltz.
Well, I don't know what people will think about your rather wily description of where you're domiciled, where you
Weekday
live.
mornings from 9.
I've calmed down a bit now, Vanessa.
Yeah.
My blood pressure went through the roof.
Yeah.
Or via the BBC iPlayer at bbc.co.uk/BBC London. This is BBC London 94.9.
Hello, Jane. Good morning.
Hi, Vanessa. Always love your show.
Oh, it's nice of you to join in. How much did you live in fear of it, and how much was it
I
something...
ran away at 13 years of age.
Right.
He said, "Oh, you're so like your nan."
Oh, God.
It was just horrendous and just lurched towards me. And
But none of the family spoke to him for many, many, many years.
I didn't even know the word for it was rape.
To hear the full stories, listen to Vanessa
I've
Feltz.
had mental health issues since I was 13.
Oh, dear. You've really been through the mill, haven't you? And back and round and round again.
Weekday mornings from 9.
It's such a difficult subject to talk about. Can't tell you how much I appreciate the calls on it.
Or via the BBC iPlayer at bbc.co.uk/BBC London. This is BBC London 94.9.
Hi, Mark.
Morning, Vanessa.
Is this a good idea?
Oh, listen, they're balmy.
The balmy, okay. So 20 miles an hour. I was promising to do the whole programme very, very slowly.
The problem about planning in London is there's a lack of foresight.
Right.
People have become more dumber and dumber.
I love the idea of people becoming dumb and dumber. But then maybe every generation thinks that of the next generation.
To hear the full stories, listen to Vanessa Feltz.
What do you think the contribution will be of these arterial roads being reduced to 20 miles an hour? What do you think the net effect will be?
I think that's another cash cow.
Weekday mornings from 9 or via the BBC iPlayer at bbc.co.uk/BBC London. Vanessa Feltz on BBC Radio London.
I disagree with a lot of what that chap's just said. That's another story.
No, it's not. It's today's story. It's not at all another story. For once, I'd like you to talk about what you actually want to talk about, which is how much you disagree with him.
Glad to see you're back with your original logo.
Thank you.
I'm glad to speak to you.
Ever had your opinion changed by listening to a radio phone-in?
No.
That's a shame. Can you, do you think, explain why some people listen for years and never say a word, and others are first to call every morning and very, very keen to say something?
I think it's a question of the host.
Vanessa Feltz on BBC Radio London.
It's a great show and a great celebration of a fantastic station.
Thank you.
Weekday mornings from 9 or via BBC iPlayer Radio at bbc.co.uk/Radio London. This is BBC London 94.9.
Can you explain how you reacted and why you reacted the way you did to the message that you were sent?
When I received the message, I was surprised and disappointed.
The lines are lighting up like nobody's business. We're taking your calls as fast as... What do you think about this story?
I'm on her side.
Are you?
Yes.
You would be offended and annoyed, would you? Both of those things?
To be honest with you, I'd ignore it.
You're a lawyer yourself, right?
I am. I'm livid and I'm happy to give my name.
To hear the full stories,
Please tell me what you think of this and why you've suddenly decided to phone after all these years.
listen to Vanessa Feltz.
There's always topics I want to call in on, but this one I was discussing last night.
Weekday mornings from 9
Oh my gosh, Vanessa, I think the last caller said it all.
She's a great caller, wasn't she?
Here to her.
or via the BBC iPlayer at bbc.co.uk/BBC London. BBC Radio London.
150,000 people bothered to go there last year to have a fabulous time. Are you just a killjoy or a bunch of killjoys at the Friends of Finsbury Park?
The Vanessa Feltz Breakfast Show.
No, I don't think we are a bunch of killjoys. Actually, what we want to do is conserve, preserve and safeguard.
Weekdays from 7.
shouldn't actually hold any event in the park.
Did you hear the chap from Finsbury Park who actually lives in Hackney technically saying, oh, it's a terrible thing and it's got to stop?
Vanessa Feltz putting Londoners first.
It's a crazy story, isn't it? It sounds like festival gentrification.
The Vanessa Feltz Breakfast Show.
Can't park, it's noisy, and you want to change it the second you get there. That's what we keep hearing.
Yeah, but you can't do that. Vanessa.
It depends how powerful and influential you are. Maybe you can do that.
Weekdays from 7. BBC Radio London. BBC Radio London.
You're a senior registrar in psychiatry, you're a junior hospital doctor, you're based in South East London. Are you going on strike today?
I am going on strike today, very sadly.
The Vanessa Feltz Breakfast Show.
They have decided that they know better than the brains in Westminster.
Weekdays from 7.
They think they know better than Westminster, or do you feel they do know better than Westminster?
Of course they know better. They're the ones on the ground. They're the ones doing their job.
Vanessa Feltz putting Londoners first.
Please, Jeremy, step back.
and restore civil discussion.
The Vanessa Feltz Breakfast Show.
Please ask Jeremy Hunt if this government has a policy of not listening to people.
Weekdays from 7.
It is simply not possible to deliver all a government's manifesto promises without there being some element of disagreement.
BBC Radio London. BBC Radio London.
What kind of foolish Philistine would even contemplate doing that?
The Vanessa Feltz Breakfast Show.
I think this will be certainly a story of the day for a lot of people.
If you're anywhere near that hole in Charlton, be careful.
Weekdays from 7.
Fear that Wembley's the next big hole in the ground that appears overnight.
Vanessa Feltz, putting Londoners first.
There are times when a manual earth restructuring implement is best referred to as a spade.
The Vanessa Feltz Breakfast Show.
I don't think there should be a licence to own a television.
We're talking about the BBC on the BBC.
Just seems to me the BBC has become a bit of a middle-class enclave.
Weekdays from 7.
You're bordering on becoming a broadcasting icon.
Let's heaven forfend, that's all I can say.
BBC Radio London.